Yo, what's good, people? Welcome into another episode, man. It's a good day, man. It's a really good day. You know why? Because you listen to the episode. That's why it's a good day. You got me, BeBall Jones. Yeah, my guy over here, my cousin, Nelson Haskins. What's up, bro?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Can't complain, man. Can't complain. It's a lovely day on this earth. What about you?
Everything good on my end, man. Just schooling and working, working and schooling.
Yeah, working business on my end, man. That's just the endless rotation of that, man. Just back and forth between that, man.
Facts.
So let's go ahead and get to this episode, man. This is it's an interesting talk that we're gonna have today that
Mm.
I'm glad to get into. So I'm gonna just set the stage for you, man. So during my years of training and a little bit, my small percentage of coaching that I've done, I've come across parents and stuff of them wanting to get their kids in the right situation. You feel me? Get them set up to where they can, do better at the next level, and get them prepared to play at a very high level, whether that's college or anything past that, whatever pro level that might be. And for me personally, I kind of go back and forth between these two scenarios of what makes the most sense to develop and grow in. So, would it make more sense to be in a situation where, let's say travel ball? So you playing travel ball, right? Would you rather
Mhm.
be the guy or even the girl? For those listeners, would you rather be the main player, the main person on a team that's not as good, maybe a smaller situation, or would you rather be just another person on the starts of the team? Like this is an all-star lineup, and you basically just like another player on the team. So just juggling between those two, man. Would you rather be, let's say, the big fish in a small pond, or would you rather be like the little fish in the ocean? Like which one would you feel like, going back to your travel ball days, which one makes the most sense to you? You feel like is the best situation to develop and grow in?
Hmm. I'm not gonna lie. I had to think about this just from my own perspective. So I've never really been the number one option guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like I never been the guy that was like, oh man, if Nelson don't get us 20, we gonna lose type stuff. I've never been that guy. And that's mostly because I didn't have the skill to go get us 20 on any given night. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, every now and then I might give you 20. On a good day, I might bust you out of the 20 ball. You know what I'm saying? You just never know. But for me to have that responsibility of, hey, Nell, if you don't get 20, we're gonna lose. Like point blank period. So I've never been that guy. So what I say is, I think I would fit, especially like my game. Just think about me and my game. My game fits better if I'm, as you said, the small fish in the ocean. But I don't like to think of it as being a small fish in the ocean. I like to think of it as like we all big fish. Like,
Mm.
like you got to beat all of us. And at the end of the day, I want to win. So I'm not too big on stats and stuff like that. I want to win more than anything. And so I'd rather be in that list of names of like, man, how you was going? You know how guys argue about who teams was better or whatever. That like teams that never played or whatever. Like I graduated high school in like 2012, and this other good team graduated in like 2017, so we never really played each other or whatever. And they'd be like, man, y'all would never beat us. Who gonna guard so and so? Who gonna guard so and so? Who gonna guard so and so? I like to beat them so and so's. You know what I'm saying? It's just one of them things, especially because my game fits that way. Because it's like, man, like John Wall said when John Wall signed with the Clippers, he was like, the third best defender finna be guarding me. Sound like bad news for them. I'm good with
Yeah.
that. Let's do it. Like, hey, you telling me the small, like I might play with, let's say I'm playing with like a 7 footer or something, or like a dude 6'10", I'm playing a four. You mean to tell me the biggest dude finna guard him and the second biggest dude finna guard me? Oh yeah, I'm good. Like I'm ready. So I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the small fish in the ocean type deal, if that makes sense to you. So what about you? How you feel about it?
I think I have to go on the other end, man. I get where you're coming from, but I feel like, not to be selfish, but I feel like when you're in that position, you're able to grow and develop a little bit more freely. So, you know, just the illustration here. It's funny I use that word, but if you're an artist, right, and you're able to use any color you want to, and you can use pens or pencils, you can use markers, you can, you're free to use whatever you want to. More than likely, you're gonna be more of a more diverse artist as you develop and grow. You know what I mean? So like, if you have a good instructor, a good teacher, they're able to let you just free roam. You know what I mean? Like, they're not gonna tell you the color inside the lines. Like in their mind, there is no lines. You just free to create. You're free to create, right? So like that's
Mm.
the biggest thing. So think about how like a James Harden is, right? Like when he was in Houston, what rule? The rule is get the ball in my hands and we'll figure everything out from there. Like that's it. That's the play. And so when you allow kids to have that level of freedom, confidence is going through the roof. Because in my mind, I got the ultimate green light. So a mistake is just a lesson, basically. You know what I mean? If you got the right coach around them, I'll say that. But if I could pick, I was more like you. I wasn't necessarily the guy on any team. I was, I had pockets where I was the best player, but my playing style isn't best player material. If that makes sense. Like I'm not I'm not maxed out to be a best player. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like my skill set is more tailored to get everybody involved. I play great defense. Can I score? Yeah, I can score, but I'm kind of like a John Wall. You feel me? Like that's not a great example because I'm not John Wall, but I'm more John Wall if that makes sense. But
No, I understand.
um, so yeah, like I'm gonna get everybody involved, play defense. I'm gonna have a little highlight stuff here and there, but I'm not finna take over the game and drop you third. That's not what I want to. Could I do it? Yeah, I probably could have trained and worked and got better at doing that, but that's not me. And then I don't feel happy dropping 30. Give me 13 with 30 assists. Oh, we talking good now. So but but yeah, I just think overall, man, like especially at the youth level, I don't love seeing people gang up and just, the superstar stack teams, the monstars. Like, come on, bro. Like, that's not really fun or fair. You know what I mean? Like, let's let the kids have freedom, and just play ball. You feel me? So for me personally, I feel like it makes more sense to at certain times really let them be like the first string option and just like go from there because now your confidence going through the roof and you're able to figure out your game at a different lane than you could be just another guy in the stack lineup. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, I definitely understand. Like when you're talking about kids developing, that I feel like that's definitely important too. Like have the ability to mess up. You got the freedom to you kind of find your game in the game. See what works for you, what doesn't. Without feeling like, oh, if I do this, I'm gonna come out, or I might not start tomorrow, or stuff like that. So that kind of be good
Mm-hmm.
in itself. But me personally, and I said this multiple times on here, I am good at being a star in my role. Like that's how I done came up playing. Like I'm good at that because I've never been the number one guy, and so I've naturally
Mm-hmm.
developed in that way to be good at that role of like I'm good with being in that dunker spot. Like, hey, like when you drive, if my man step the hill, you can drop it off to me, I'm dunking, or you can lob it up, I'm catching it. We put it in the goal. I'm ready. Like I'm here to help you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's my kind of game now. And I'm developing enough to like do other things. Like you can put the ball in my hand and ask me to get a bucket, and like I'm good with that now. But growing up and like developing, that's how I developed. And so like and it helps that I'm a big also. Big. It's just more of a guard game now. The way the game is played, but I'm gonna play some defense. I'm gonna run. I'm gonna block shots for you. I'm gonna dunk. I'm gonna hustle for you. Stuff like that. So I'm good for being a star in my role. So I think I'll take that. Like Boogie Cousins and they Kentucky team. Who all was on that team? It was like John Wall, Eric Bledsoe, Boogie. Who
Patrick
was
Patterson.
Patrick Patterson? Who was the other wing? It was one other guy. Um, it wasn't D Book or nobody like that, but it was another wing
No,
player. I
I want to
forgot.
say Darius Miles, but I feel like that's wrong.
Nah,
Um,
I can't remember at the moment.
yeah,
But
it's
either
too
way,
many. Okay.
yeah, they had you talking about a starring lineup of NBA players, like
Yeah.
literally. And so I think I'm taking being Patrick Patterson
Mm-hmm.
over being what's a good example? Like over being anybody at a small school getting trapped every time I touch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think about that more than anything. Like, do I really want to be getting double teamed like every time I touch the ball? Am I ready for that mentally? Like, because I think that's the most frustrating stuff in the world. I've been double teamed. Like, I done had games where I was scouted. Like, the scout was to double me. If I caught the ball on the block, they was doubling they doubling the post out the gate. They like forget whoever else out here. Go double him. And like that used to happen to me especially when I was in JUCO, and I used to be like, man, like I remember one game I got doubled every time I caught the ball on the block, and I had 5 turnovers, and we lost the game by like 4 points. I was like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I need somebody on this outside. I need somebody on this. I need my Kobe. I need somebody on this outside that go get a bucket because and Shaq, I know Shaq was getting double teamed and stuff too, but I ain't Shaq. That's what I'm saying. I'm not Shaq. Like, I need that Kobe out there. So I know they ain't gonna double me because if they double me, I kick out to somebody who I know gonna get a bucket, make something happen. But
Yeah.
that just ain't my game. So maybe that has a lot to do with it. Would I love to be a guy that's averaging 30? Like if I'm averaging like 25 and 12, and maybe I'm the only like super great talent that we have. Like, would that be cool? Yeah, I would love to have them numbers and stuff if it came
Mm-hmm.
with winning. But if I'll also take, getting my 14 and 10 and letting somebody else get 20 a night. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm good with that. Like, as long as they
Mm-hmm.
keep not that I'm afraid of pressure, but as long as they keep the defensive pressure off me, like, of being that number one option, like, because I'm not an outside perimeter guy. So if I catch the
Yeah.
ball inside the paint, they doubling, I'm finna get mad. I'm like, bro, let this man get murdered like everybody. Let this man fend for himself. Because if we ain't doubling on the other end, so y'all let this man work out. That's how I feel. Like, man, I ain't doubling him. Like, if he catch the ball on
Yeah.
that block, we go mano y mano. But y'all want to
Yeah.
double me. All right. I get
I
mad
think
about stuff like
I think you're thinking about it from the position that you're in now. Like if you could rewind and just have Nelson's fresh brain when he first started basketball,
mm,
if you had the reins taken off you and like the blinds taken off you to where Nelson, you're big and this is what you do, versus
mm,
Nelson, you're however tall you are compared to the other kids, you just play basketball. Not to say you still won't be in the same position that you're in now, but
right.
I guarantee you'll be a little more skilled. Your post game probably be a little more polished. Your handles be just a little bit better. It's just a little bit. I ain't saying you'll be like, you know, KD or like Boogie Cousins or nothing, but
Mm,
you probably would be where you are right now a year or two ago. You know what I mean? So like that kind of, the progress that you had could have been done earlier. But because you were slowed down by being a star in your role, ain't no role when you a kid first, for real, for real.
yeah.
Like you just go hoop. So by especially down here in the South, you got coaches, oh, you taller than everybody else, you the big. All you do is, especially if you're not the most athletic guy and you ain't really got no skill for real, or you just stand around the rim and put your hands up. The ball comes to you, just grab it, keep it high, don't let nobody else come and get it, throw it to your point guard, rim run, do the same thing, turn around. Don't fumble the ball, just catch it, turn 1 foot, don't travel, turn around, lay up. Like
Turn 1 foot.
pick one
That'd be
foot,
one.
and that's it. And that's how you get coached pretty much down here. Like that's it.
No,
Like,
that's true though. That's true.
but imagine if you said, "Hey, when you get the rebound, just go run." Like you a point guard a little bit. Now, if you're allowed to fumble around the ball a little bit, you get a move here and there. Like you might look like Yao Ming. I know I got through this highlight in here probably, but Yao Ming had the ball in a fast break one time. He went on the court, wrapped it behind the back, and I think he went and finished for a layup or a dunk. He did. It was a nice highlight.
Mm,
I ain't saying you gonna look like him, but at some point you'll progress to look like that. You'll look decent. You feel
right.
me? But you are handicapped and held back because this is what the image of a big is, especially when we were growing up. But I feel like a lot of kids deal with that. But if you took that off, now you probably won't be thinking as a star in your role, and your role would be the star. You feel me? Or
Mm,
your role would be to be the guy, to be a Shaq, to be a Giannis, to be a KG that does more than just play defense and rebound and kick it out to the point guard. So that's why I feel like, especially starting off with, yeah, it's important to play your role and everything, but if you're giving free reign and let the roles kind of define themselves, now you're able to grow limits without any limits on you. So that's why I feel like, especially in the youth level, there are no, excuse me, there are no real roles, not for real, for real. You know what I mean? Like the roles will define itself, but starting off with just go hoop. You feel me? Like, well, I'll tweak stuff here and there, but for real, just go play basketball, and basketball sort itself out. So that's how I feel personally, especially at the youth level of that. Man, give me some kids who will just be free reign, and let me be that free kid, and just I'll grow and learn to make mistakes. Cause I would probably still turn out to be the same player I am, but I would be my scoring ability would be a little bit higher. And so, like you said, you don't feel comfortable being double teamed, but imagine you in high school getting double teamed. All I'm gonna do is adjust and say, hey, when you get double teamed, like you probably know now, like, okay, as soon as you see a double team coming, either kick it right back out or make a quick move before a double team comes, or make a move away from a double team.
mm.
Quick, easy adjustments, a quick little stuff right there. But now in the summertime, you're training for a double team now. Kobe used to train for double teams and triple teams. He trained for situations like that. I know I'm getting double team on the elbow, but all that means is I'm gonna go to the elbow a little bit quicker. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna pull up faster. I'm gonna go, but I'm gonna tell defense to drop to the corner and spread out a little bit more so now I can kick it out to him. So you're not just selling for what the defense gives you, but now you're thinking the game at the next level, and you're training at the next level, and now you're being coached at the next level because you're able to have all the colors in your crayon box rather than just black, white, and gray, or just red and blue. You feel me? So that's why I feel like it's important for you to be allowed to be the free reign and that the star player, so to speak, and have that free reign rather than just being another player on the roster, so to speak.
Mm. No, I feel that. That makes good sense. But I think that makes more sense from a training aspect. And it makes sense that we think. But I feel like that makes more sense. Like as a trainer, and you train a kid, you should train the kid to be a guard. I don't care if the kid come out the womb 6'5". Like
Yeah.
you should train him to have every aspect of basketball. Train even if he come out tall, train him to dribble, train him to shoot, train him to pass, train him to finish, everything. Train him to be a basketball player first, rather than train him to be a power forward or a center or a shooting guard. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that I think that's true. But then where I had a problem at is where you said when you a kid ain't no roles. Because if you ever coached a YMCA kids team or something like that, or anything kids league, anything, you might want to assign some roles. Because what ended up happening is when you say, "Hey man, y'all just go hoop," and you make adjustments, it sound good until that one kid that play guard start jacking all the shots because it's like, man, coach said hoop. He said you go hoop. Then you out there talking about, man, you got to pass the ball, and then guess what he gonna say? But you said we just need to hoop. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? The kids do that, and so then you got other kids mad because they ain't touched the ball in a minute. So then what they do? As soon as they touch it, they ain't passing because they ain't touched it in a minute. So I'm finna shoot this one while I got it. So you know
Mhm.
what you gotta kind of. I mean, I ain't saying you wouldn't have no structure if you was a coach, but
Yeah.
uh, you gotta have some kind of roles in place to let kids know, like, hey, it ain't really your job to jack shots from out here. I know you see the guards shooting threes, but that ain't really your job to shoot the way they shoot. Now, if you catch it open, stand still, feet set, you shoot it. Like, hey, knock it down. But I know you see them coming off screens, handling the ball, shooting certain shots. That's not your game. Not right now, at least. So don't concern yourself with that. Concern yourself with doing what we need you to do to win. So, and the same thing goes for guards. Like, hey, I know you see so and so in the paint most of the time. Because it's funny because a lot of guards want to be bigs, and a lot of bigs wish they was guards, and
Yep.
like it's weird how that goes. But um, I know you see so and so sitting in the paint. I know you think you can get down there and Kyrie somebody because you're a little bit bigger than the other guard, but That ain't the role we want you to play right now. I need you to be handling my ball. You my better ball handler. So I need you to be the one out here on the perimeter. You know? So I think that's really where it comes down to. It's like, man, like everybody gotta have a role in some kind of way. And you'll find out even with kids, you'll find out soon and early on who the stars is. Or well,
Mm-hmm.
let me not say stars. Let me say you'll find out quick who your guard, like who your like scorer is. You'll find out quick
Mm-hmm.
who your better defender is. You'll find out quick who your best big man is. Even if he ain't really making big man moves, you find out who the best tall kid on that team is.
Mm-hmm.
And you just put them in place to be successful. So that's what kind of how I see it. So I think you got to have some kind of roles even with kids. And you know on the side and coaching and training, you work on stuff to develop everything. Here, like because I remember growing up, they separated bigs and guards. When I was in middle
Mm-hmm.
school, when I was in high school, they separated bigs and guards. Hey, guards down here, bigs down there. We down there working on post hooks and jump. Guards coming off, cones, shooting the ball, doing all type of other stuff like that. And I wish I did that stuff because then, later on in my career, it's like, dang, I can't shoot, can I? You look at coach like, dang, coach, I can't shoot, huh? And you think back on them drills, it's like, dang, I wish I was on the other end of the court now.
Yep.
But it's one of them things. Like as a coach, you need to train your players to be able to do everything. As a coach and a trainer, you need to train them to do everything. But in the flow of the game, it's like, hey man, do what we need you to do at your position to be successful. Now, if you're good enough at your position, maybe you still will be the star because it's star bigs just like it's star guards and star wings. So ain't nobody saying like if you a big, you ain't gonna be the star player or nothing like that. But if you're good enough at your role, good enough at your job, that's where becoming the star comes in or becomes, attainable. Because like
Mm-hmm.
now, I could be quote unquote a star in our game. Like I might, I could be our team's leading scorer at this point in my career. But there was a time where if I was leading the scoring, either I had a good day or the team had a bad day, and that was it. So I think I'd take that though. I take like just going back to the original topic. I take being the small fish in the big pond because it's like I know what I can do, and like my trainer, like Carl, tell me, Carl trains me all the time. He's like in charge of my development. He tell me, hey man, make all the easy ones and make a couple tough ones, and we walking our way to 20. That's what he say. If you make all the easy shots that you get, the little easy catch, turn, post hooks, the bunnies, the drop offs that you lay up or dunk, and the alley oops, because you go get a couple of them every time. The free throws, them easy ones. Feet set middies, easy. Feet set tray ball, catch and shoot, easy. If you make the easy ones, and then slide in a couple tough ones where it's like, oh, you had to make a real move. You had to actually work out to get your bucket. You make a couple of the tough ones, you'll walk your way to 20. And
Mm-hmm.
that's easier said than done, obviously, but that's what it takes now. You know what I'm saying? Because I've
Yeah.
had that development. So there was a point in time where my career was just make the easy ones. It's like, shoot, they worry about so and so. So I'm gonna get these drop offs. I'm dunking it. Every night they're gonna hit me on the block. I'm gonna make a move, post up, whatever I decide to do with it. Gonna make my free throws, and then I walk my way to 14. Now it's like, now make some tough ones. Like mix the tough ones in. And that's where
Mm-hmm.
the elevation in your game and my game comes. It's like, now you got the skill to make a couple tough buckets. So we need
Yep.
you to do that. And so I'm good with being that small fish because I know what I can do. So like every now and then it's gonna be like I'm still gonna contribute. Is how I see it. I'm gonna contribute what I can do to the team, and we gonna rock out like that because I know I got other players that I can depend on. So I'm good with that one.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like I'm not saying like strictly from a training perspective. Like I'm probably thinking about my situation I had when I was coaching, and so I kind of had more of a development type of team,
Mm-hmm.
and even with that, I still allowed players to kind of like expand their game a little bit. So like I would never tell anybody to not shoot. So I had everything from like a 4'11", like 5 foot girl. It's like 7, 6, 7 grade girl. So I had like a 4'11", 5 foot girl all the way up to like a 6'6" girl. Like if the 6'1" girl wanted to shoot, guess what you gonna do? Shoot it. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna coach and train you like, hey, was that the best shot you could have got? What could you have got an easier one? How could you make that better? You know what I mean? So like I'm I'm a little bit different because I'm a coach and train you at the same time. But now sometimes to win the game, that coaching side will take over a little bit more, of course, and I will kind of like emphasize what your role is, or what not necessarily what your role is, but like what is the biggest impact you can have in the game. You feel me? But I'm not going to dictate that. What I'm going to do is kind of like how you said before. If you got a whole bunch of YMCA kids or just rec kids, or whatever, like even when you work a camp and you don't know any of the kids, you gonna know who is who easy, real quick. You're gonna start figuring that out. But from there, now you start having some type of boundaries. So I let the game dictate it rather than just, oh, you're 6'3" in the 8th grade, so I'm gonna put you at the big. No, I see you 6'3", but you can handle. Okay, cool. You might be my point guard and my big. You feel me? So I let the game dictate what it is, and now I put some type of boundaries or some type of guidelines in place to where everybody understands. So now what my guidelines are that, hey, if you're in this situation, we're looking to do this, but these options are still available. So I'm not going to constrict you to where your role is to strictly shoot. You're a PJ Tucker. All you do is stand in the corner and shoot, and you play defense. No, ain't none of that on my team. No, but this is what you do best. This maximizes you, but you're allowed to do X, Y, and Z. So if PJ Tucker want to bring the ball to the floor, all right, cool. But when you mess up, we're gonna have a conversation. Not in a rough way, but it's like, yo, what happened? Was that the best decision? What could you have done? Okay, cool. So now you piece stuff together to where you realize your role on your own rather than me forcing you there. But I'm not putting any boundaries on you, because next thing you know, a girl or a guy might surprise you, like, oh snap, he did what? But you don't get that without them without them feeling free enough to explore without the boundaries. Oh, it's not my role to sit here and do this move, so I'm just going to sit here in the corner and do nothing. It wasn't your role to be a point guard, so you never had any opportunity to expand and explore more stuff. But it's nothing wrong being a role player, but I just feel like, especially at the youth level, you should be allowed to explore and do more things. Now it's different when you're talking about college ball and you look at the bigger players and you look at how they develop and grew, and I think that's a whole different conversation to have almost. And like you feel me? Because like at that system, your roles are established. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. But I do feel like, I still feel like I'd rather be the big fish in a small pond there too. Kind of like how I said about Kobe, because now you still have the free reigns, but now you almost have the ultimate cheat code, because like there's almost nothing now that you can't go against now. Like I done seen boxing 1, triangle 2. I'd have been double teamed all the way up the floor. I'd have been denied the whole game. It's like, man, like I remember when Trae Young was in college, he went crazy. He was putting up 30 balls left and right. He was leading the league. Leading the nation in assists. But then after the little break we had when conference play started, his numbers started dropping. Well, yeah, I'm getting double teamed all the time. But guess what? You slip up and let me get 1-on-1, I'm toasting you. I don't care who you are. You can be the Kawhi Leonard mixed with Drew Harden of college basketball. Drew Holiday of college basketball. You getting roasted, bro. Ain't no 1-on-1 college play stopping me, bro. Like, what are we talking about here? But that's the type of mindset you're gonna have from being the big fish in a small pond. Cause like, man, I've been toasting these dudes all season, bro. Like, I've been getting boxing 1, triangle 2 all year. So now I'm unstoppable, bro. So what are we talking about here? So I'd much rather be like, the Ja Morant or the Damian Lillard and the Steph Curry, because now I don't even have a green light. It's a lime neon, like ridiculously green
the
light.
ultra green.
Boy, when I tell you that, it's blinding how bright that light is. Like it's crazy. Like,
it's blinding. The ultra green light.
So yeah, I think I'd rather be that player. Take me to a small school. I ain't got to be out of Kentucky or Duke or nothing like that. but let me be at a little Weber State, Weber, pronounce right. I'm
Weaver.
trying to offend nobody. Weber State. Take me to a little Davidson, and let me get my 30 balls off here and there. You feel me? Let me be the guy. I feel like that situation will fit me better. Personally, that's what I prefer. But I feel like you're probably on the other end of it.
Yeah, I am, bro. Hey, that team with Boogie and them in Kentucky, all of them went to the league. So hey, I'll contribute. I'll be one of the names. Hey man, you played with Boogie, he played John Wall, so and so, so and so. Yeah, I was in there. I was in there. I was in the
Mm.
mix. And we all went to the league. I'm good with that. See, you the guy, at your school, and you the only one going. You the only one. Hey, you can't name me not one Dame Lillard teammate. Hey, them boys. Hey, them boys at the end of the season said, "Hey, Dame, I'm glad I got to play with you, motherfucker. I'm gonna go get this job at Bank of America. I'm gonna make use of this. I'm gonna go make use of this English degree I got. Hey, but good luck, bro. I'm gonna be watching you on TV. I'm telling you, boy.
That's funny.
Oh man. Tell you,
Oh,
boy.
that's funny. But but that's true. But I still feel like, if you're looking at it basketball, it's kind of like how I said before, man. Like when you're in that level, in that situation, you still have a level of freedom that you can't touch me. You know what I mean? Like you have a physical and a mental freedom to be like, man, I can really do anything I want to. Like when Kyrie was young Kyrie with the Cavs before LeBron came back, what rules did Kyrie have?
Yeah.
Nothing. That boy was just hooping. Like a pass is an option. Option number 5. Um, I'm just out here to hoop, bro. Like I think for real, he just went out there and he was hooping. I think most young guys do that anyway. But I really feel like he got to a point where he was like, "Oh, this is NBA basketball. This ain't too far different from what I was going against over here in this situation. I'm just finna ball out, bro. I'm just finna like really
I'm
play.
still cooking.
I'm just finna cook y'all and just have fun with this because this ain't. How many highs can I get in this one game? I'm pretty sure he had a couple games. He was like, I wonder if I can get 5 good highlights out of this game. Like just 5. Like
Well, let's see. We down 20. It's the second quarter. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna give me something out of this. I'm gonna be on ESPN for something positive. Me. Somebody got to get it, boy. I'm telling you. Oh,
oh
I
man.
understand that though, yeah, and that probably do help develop better. Like being that guy, that small fish. I mean, that big fish in a small pond probably would help you develop better to be the guy in the NBA. If you was that good to be a Damian Lillard, Steph Curry kind of guy, it
Mm-hmm.
probably did help to develop you like that. Because it's like you already got that mentality. Like I'm the guy. I can. You put the pressure on me, put the weight on my shoulders. Maybe that's why you see guys like Dame and Steph that went to them small schools. They loyal. They're loyal to the soil. It's like, hey man, I'm here. Like, cause I'm sure them guys could have transferred out of their school, but they was like, nah, bro. Like, this is where I go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
and you see guys like that, they sticking around. They program. Our job might be like that too. He come from Murray State, so I feel like that might have helped their mentality. It's like, oh, like we might not be winning, but should put it on me. I'm trying to get us every dub. You know what I'm saying? Put the pressure
Yeah.
on me, and so you might have a point in that. That might help do that for them. But I still stick with my answer though. I can't lie.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Like honestly, the counter, I'm gonna counter my own argument, but like the only for real counter I can come up with is that you kind of have to relearn basketball almost if you're
Mm,
always the big fish in a small pond because now do you know how to play off-ball basketball? Do you understand how
mm,
to fully develop and be a full basketball player? You know what I mean? Like I forgot who said it, but they were talking about how James Harden, like a lot of guys in today's basketball, NBA guys don't know how to play basketball anymore because they only know one-on-one or primary ball handler basketball. They don't
right.
understand how to do off-ball cuts and pin downs and come off and curl. They don't understand all this stuff in flat screens. And I get that, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's the counter argument I could have to where if you were at Kentucky, you know how to sit there and play your role. You know how to minimize and what like Devin Booker knows I can shoot the ball. So now I know worst comes to worst, I'm gonna just this is what I'm gonna do. You feel me? I'm gonna just, let it rip from right here. So don't mess around, let me get open now. Cause I didn't oh man, when I get open, it's a wrap. Versus, Dame or CJ or Ja or Steph is always like not throw the ball out of my hands. Kind of how like James Harden and CP were. Like once I get a ball in my hands, I'm just chilling in the corner. Like I'm here. It's not real basketball. You just taking up space now. So that's the only kind of argument I could come up with when I was thinking about this is that you're kind of hindering their development as a full basketball player. Like, yeah, you're great one-on-one. You're great with, how to handle pressure and everything, but you're not a fully developed basketball player. That's where back in the day, Kobe's and the T-Max and the Paul Pierce and the Ray Allen, they knew how to play on the ball and off the ball. So he might double team me. I'm going to kick it out to him. I'm going to loop around and make this move and go to the other side of the court. Now I'm posting you up. Or now I know how to, I'm going to kick it out. But then basically the other half of Steph Curry's game is what, we're talking about here. So I throw the ball out my hands. Dre, you got it. I'm going to just loop around and come around some kind of screen, or elevator screen, whatever. And I'm going to get the ball somewhere else. And I'm going to just, old school two guard. So that's the one kind of argument I would have against my, side of it. But I still feel like overall for like to develop a lot more, it pays a lot more to be the guy, because I think it might be easier from a youth level to pull it back some than to pull out. Because you struggle with pulling more out of kids because psychologically they're so boxed in to like, I'm only supposed to do this, coach, so I can't. No, bro, you can do so much more. I'd much rather have you dial it back in and say, hey, we don't need all of that right now. Just give me this corner right here, just right here. So maybe it's from my experience of what I've seen and dealt with, man. But I'd much rather deal with like the big fish in a small pond. I'd rather be the big fish in a small pond. Might be a little ego here to being like, you can't drop 30. When you at some point, I got to dial it back and drop, 18. But yeah, is that really bad of a trade-off? Especially if you're winning. So, but that's kind of how I still feel like the big fish in a small pond is better overall, man. That's the side I'm sticking with.
Hey man, I understand, bro. I guess we just got to agree to disagree on that one, boy. But I'm gonna get my buckets when they come instead of forcing them, and we good.
Yeah. I think most of the base we just gonna have to agree to disagree, man. But I got another one I want to talk to you about, man. And this one's a little bit of it's a little might get a little warm in here for some people. So I remember a while back, I think it was last year, it got pretty popular for support black colleges and a lot of people talking about going to HBCUs. I'm not gonna name certain people's names because they might renege on that, or they might have reneged, and I ain't trying to put nobody out there. But I think, was it Maker or one or Bowl? One of them tall, lanky guys. One of them. It's the Maker or Bowl. It's one of them. They went to Howard, and they ended up playing because of injury or something like that. But a couple of guys were like, "Man, I'm going to HBCU to support the HBCU." And for a while, there's debates and talks around, should we have more of our athletes, going to HBCUs and support them and building that up, versus going to the Power Fives and the PWIs and all that stuff. So that was a debate I was kind of having with myself. Like that's some truthful things. Like, man, like we should be supporting some of our own colleges and the HBCUs, but at the same time, it's like, why not go to a Kentucky or your Duke or whatever? So I just kind of, what do you feel on this, man? Do you feel like we should be more, HBCU support our black colleges, or just kind of, there's nothing wrong going to a PWI or Power 5 schools? So what do you feel on this debate of side versus one side?
This kind of an interesting topic for me as I currently attend the PWI. Kind Can't say too much, but but nah, bro. What I will say though, what I will say, we definitely as like we're just speaking for us as a culture, in the black community. I definitely think we should give HBCUs a better look. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, what I mean when I say that is don't pass them off. That's all I'm saying. Like, don't just be like, oh, I got this school, and this school. I ain't worried about no HBCU. Because we kind of look at HBCUs like they just like that they secondhand almost.
Mm-hmm.
So like we settling for HBCU, and that's not the case. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
There's plenty of great HBCUs to play for and to attend school at. You know what I'm saying? And you can still have a chance to be everything you want to be a pro, be an NBA, whatever. You still got a chance if you as good as you should be or as good as you think you are. But if you that level of talent, they'll find you. So I do think we definitely need to have a bigger or a more open mind when it comes to HBCUs because every HBCU isn't ran bad, isn't down bad, isn't broke, isn't none of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so you just kind of got to look at it like, okay, the the Bethune Cookman offered me, North Carolina A&T offered me, FAMU offered me. Let me give them a look. Let me not write them off just because they are HBCU. Don't let the title of HBCU make you feel like,
mm-hmm.
oh, you know. I feel like guys do that. Like, oh, that's HBCU. I'm good. Like, don't write them off. Give them the same look and opportunity you would have gave Coach K if he called your phone. And I know it's Coach K is like the highest end of the spectrum. I guess we got to start saying that because he didn't retire. But
Yeah. I
it's
think
gonna
about that.
that's gonna be weird for a while. I gotta use that. I don't even know who the new coach is. But if John
uh,
get
John. And he played for him too. I can't remember his name, but John.
so
His name John.
when he do as much as Coach K, we'll know his name. hey, no, hey, that was me. That was me. I'm sorry. No offense to that guy, man. Congratulations on
That's
all your
funny. B Coach K. I remember your name. Right now, you just Duke coach. That's
the coach
funny.
of Duke basketball. I'm sorry about that, brother. Whatever your name is.
I just know
but
John. John something with an S. That's the best I got. I'm sorry, man.
but well, give the HBCUs the same look you would give if Duke called your phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I understand Duke is like the highest end. That's like the highest class of college basketball there is. It's a blue blood. Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, Louisville, them guys. I know them blue bloods, but don't write off HBCUs just because you got those other kind of offers or other D1 offers. Like, don't make it seem like they just like, oh well, if I got this offer, then that's a waste of time. They're not, Show them a little love like you showed the love you showed them other schools. So, but
Mhm.
what you think? How you feel about the whole
All right, man. Um, all right. I hear what you're saying. Um, and I don't disagree. Let me say that I completely agree with giving them a shot. I agree with giving them opportunity. We should like a fair one. Like how I think it's really more it's really in the NFL. They talk about how there's literally a rule put in place that you had to interview at least one black coach for opportunity. You know what I mean? But I feel
thing?
like, more than likely a lot of teams just go through the motions of saying we're going to look at one black coach. I think the NBA might have something similar to that, but I know the NFL does for sure. And you have to interview one black coach to kind of go through the motions to say we're doing that for fair opportunity, equal, all that stuff. And I hope that players don't do that to where they say, I'll give HBCU a little shot. I'll say it just to say I went through the motions and I don't get, uh, blackball, nothing like that. I ain't no coon, nothing from the community, nothing like that. I hope players don't do that. But let's be completely real here. Let's be 100%, like all the way. Let's put everything on the table here. You're telling me if John Calipari or Parry, how you pronounce his last name, the coach of Kentucky University, the Kentucky University, calls your phone, yo, we got a full ride for you here, bro. Have you seen a locker room? Have you seen Lexington, Kentucky? Have you seen a rubber arena? Have you seen any of that? Our weight room. Do you know how we fly? We fly pretty well. The food we get is pretty nice here. Versus HBCU coach over here. We can get you a full ride, but we can't offer this and that, and it's not a guarantee that you're gonna have these things. Like it's a lot more question marks over here, and you're not as certain of certain stuff over here. You trying to tell me that you're not gonna pick up that phone for John Calipari? You're not gonna pick up the phone if Duke calls your phone, if Tom Izzo calls your phone, if UCLA calls your phone. You trying to tell me that's not gonna be a thing? You feel me? I just hate when people get too black power to really be realistic with that. That's what bothers me about that. I'm not saying this is not support black people, but let's be very realistic here. If you have an opportunity to go play, I ain't talking about just like be on the team, be the 15 man sit on the bench, like or be a walk on. I'm talking about like for real opportunity to play. You're not picking up that phone call, like seriously looking at that opportunity, be like, that sounds good, but I can go hoop over here and have a little bit of luxury. Like I'm from the hood, bro. Like I'm once again, like you said, Kentucky and Duke, Blue Bloods are the far end of the spectrum. But shoot, even UAB playing, not paying, but I can't say that. But even UAB has, even UAB
No.
has some. I can't say it. I don't know.
Hey, oh, can you say that? Oh my goodness.
Time I don't have any inside information. I don't know one way or another. But um but UAB does have some good access and good opportunities and stuff. They're a pretty good D1 school. Stanford University, real nice school. And so they're not as far as the end of Kentucky and Dukes, but they're still a higher level of it. You feel me? And so I think the biggest thing that we have to look at is what is most realistic for you and your goals. For me personally, I'm not getting that call from Coach K. I wasn't getting that call from John Calipari. But I had a better shot of going to UAB. I had a better shot to going to Sanford. I had a better shot of going to UAH. You know what I mean? Montevallo. I had a better shot to go in one of those schools. And that's still basketball wise, strictly basketball wise, a slightly better nod than the HBCU. Because if my goal is to try to go pro, that's a little bit better look for me. So let's be fully realistic here. And I'm not saying not to not support black colleges, but if you're being very realistic about here and you legit have an opportunity, you feel like you have an opportunity to go play pro ball, even if it's overseas, I feel like you have to be very realistic and say HBCU might not be the best opportunity for you. But now if you're somebody who, not really as pushing for pro ball, or you're not as dramatically, I gotta play pro or whatever, then of course look at your HBCU and look at any option you have. Or if you're one of the guys who just I want to play college ball, then why are you looking down at HBCU because it's HBCU? That doesn't make sense. Like you want to play college ball, so take the offer that you get. Like it's common sense. But I don't like when people be like, man, y'all supporting these PWIs and stuff, and y'all can do this for HBCU. I'm trying to win a championship in college, bro. Like I want to be on. I'm not getting TV deals at FAMU. I'm not getting a big NIL deal out of HBCU. Like, no, I'm not getting the same opportunity. So now I'm not knocking HBCUs at all. Let me just state that very clearly. But what I'm saying is realistically, if I'm a Eric Bledsoe from Birmingham and I get a call from Alabama State and A&M versus a call from John Calipari, I know I have a chance to go pro. Yeah, I'm gonna look at it. Cool. But John, when we signing? All right, cool.
John, when we
Like, what are we talking about here?
crazy.
Like, so I'm not
Nah.
knocking it, but I'm just saying let's be blunt here. Like for real. Like the Power Five where it's at. I love the HBCUs. I respect them all day. But if I know my situation, I have an opportunity for that next step. Yo, Kentucky, I'm signing. Just let me know when we set everything up. Like, come on now.
Let me know when you want me to sign. But nah, let me say this. This be my rebuttal to that is, really, my last thing I say on it is I tell you, like, in a store. I always got me a store for everything. At least once episode. So this past season ends. And I had a good year, defensive player of the year. Obviously, it's right there. You know what I'm saying? We had a good year. You know what I'm saying? I was all tournament team. They go to certificate for all tournament team right there. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Had a good season. Made a name for myself. Still got one more year to play because of COVID. This is my COVID year that I'm currently in. So I ain't gonna say no names or nothing like that. But had a school approach me in a roundabout way, wondering if I was entering the transfer portal. Because transfer portal almost like free agency now. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could go wherever you want to go. So I'm not in the portal. You know what I'm saying? But my homeboy asked me out of nowhere. He was like, "Yeah, the school was wondering if you was in the portal. They asked me if you were in the portal. I told him I ain't know. So I was asking you." He was like, he asked me, he was like, "So are you in the portal? You finna leave? Like, what you doing?" I'm like, "No, I ain't in the portal. Like, I'm chilling. I plan on staying." You know what I'm saying? And he was like, "Oh, okay." But when he asked me that, two coaches from the same school had just followed me on social media. So I figured, this was the school he was talking about, even though he never said. And I was like, "Oh, okay. All right, well, you just let them know that I plan on staying." But the school that we talking about was a Division I. This is a D1 school. But would it be cool to go D1? Yeah, of course. Of course. Like, we all want to be D1. But thing about it was, I've been here for 2 years. The coaches here roll with me, you know what I'm saying? They believe in me. I know what's expected of me. You know what I'm saying? And I like it here. So I stay loyal to the soil. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I know it. Hey, would it be cool to be D1? Probably been in a slightly better facility, slightly better cafeteria, whatever. Cool. Would have been nice. But I stay loyal to the soil. I was like, "Hey, coach, you've been good to me. You do right by me. You take care of me. I'm gonna ride with you." And so that's just the kind of guy that I am. So when I say that to say, I'm not the kind of guy to just take what might look like the best thing just because it's the best thing. You know what I'm saying? I'm good with taking the place that's good for me. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
And if I feel like Howard or Hampton or Bethune-Cookman or FAMU, if I feel like them the places for me, when I actually go and pay attention and look at it and visit or whatever, if I feel like that's the place for me, I might be good with that. And so I know that phone call from that D1 sound good. And the Blue Bloods is kind of different because this is like the best of the best. So that's kind of different. I will give you that. Like Calipari call your phone, I ain't gonna sit here and say, "Hey, don't answer." You know what I'm saying? Answer that phone call. Hurry up, actually. Like first 2 rings, maximum. Like, like it don't ring more than 3 times if you see Coach K or John Calipari pop up on your phone.
Yeah.
But that's kind of different. But if you decide between I don't even want to be rude and like name another smaller D1. If you decide between a mid-major D1 and D1 HBCU, don't think just because that's HBCU that this other Division I school just because it's a PWI is automatically better. So look for a place that's good for you, that fits you. Not just in basketball and play and how you play and stuff like that, but stuff you like to do, what kind of school you want to be in, what kind of environment you want to be in. You know what I'm saying? So pay attention to stuff like that too. So that's kind of how I feel on. That's kind of my stance on it. It's like, hey man, go to the place that fit you. Don't worry about going somewhere and just because of that name, because you might get there, you might get to that big name that you wanted. And we talked about being a big fish in a small pond or a small fish in a big pond. You might be a small fish, like a sardine. in the ocean. Like you might be a little one, you know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
you might get there, you know, you gonna have to fight it out and scrap everything you get. And I ain't saying that's impossible, but like that's an uphill battle. You know what I'm saying? If you get in there, you a good player that you know they brought in, and you surrounded by 5-star athletes. It's like, hey, boy, suggest you get in the gym. That's all they gonna say. Hey, man, the as Coach Butler told us many times, the shooting hours are in the chat. He told, hey, if a guy have a bad shooting day, he'd be like, hey, the shooting hours are in the chat. They're in the group chat. So you do with that information what you. So I ain't
That's
saying
funny.
not to, you know what I'm saying? I ain't saying not to go for that name, you know what I'm saying? Call, like I said, Calipari, call your phone answer, please. Don't tell them Nelson said don't answer. Please don't do that. But just find a place that fits you. And if that's HBCU, great, good for you, man. Take it, go. If that's the place that fit for you, the environment you want to be in, the place you want to be, the team you want to play for, do that. Don't just
Mhm.
chase names. Be the name. Don't chase names. Make your name the one other people chase. And you
Mm.
know, y'all at home with you.
That was a good bar.
I tell you, hey.
That was a good bar.
Y'all hey, that's off the hey, that's all me. That's off the dome. Y'all
Yeah, that
take
was
that
a good one.
home
That
with
was a good one. Yeah, I mean, I get you. I agree more with that one. You feel me? Like, do it with you, and that's why I said like you got to be realistic with yourself first and foremost. Of like, first off, what are your expectations and where do you see yourself going? Now, if you're
you.
talking about going pro and that's nothing close to realistic, then why are you turning out HBCUs? You feel me? Like that's just like, let's really think here. You feel me? So, um, but even deeper level, like you said, like when you look at how you might have a mid major or a D2 school for a PWI or HBCU, like why are you turning down an HBCU because it has the name HBCU beside it? You feel
Right.
me? But like, but now if no, I ain't gonna throw names to it either. But let's say the HBCU does not have any real way of having that connection to the pro game, but you feel like you're capable and able to be a pro player. Why
Mm.
not take the mid major or the D2 offer to prepare you for that next level? That makes more sense for you. You feel me? And sometimes you're gonna be not a martyr per se, but you're gonna be a trailblazer that you're gonna be the person that crawls and somebody can walk sometimes. So
Right.
I'm gonna be the guy who went to a HBCU and I might not go pro, but I help establish a culture now at a HBCU, and I'm able to set a certain standard and set a certain culture at this college now or at this university now, and now the next guy or maybe the next guy out there after him is able to be that guy who breaks through finally. You feel me? So
Mm-hmm.
um, everybody's not built for that. That doesn't make sense for everybody. Everybody doesn't have that type of personality or the type of mindset to be that guy, you know. Because if let's say Zion tried to go to a HBCU, he's a big enough personality to where we're gonna follow him. Like, you going
Right.
where? You going to Alaska? Oh, we gonna find out. Like, let's we'll figure something out.
We're gonna send the
Like,
ESPN crew right away.
we gonna have a whole team dedicated just to Alaska. That y'all ship there, y'all gone. Like, wherever Zion go, y'all follow right behind him. Like,
Y'all live in Alaska from November to March.
whenever they season done, then we'll call you back over. Until they don't tell me nothing about no travel plans. If it ain't from one part of Alaska to another, if it's anywhere back here, we ain't talking. Like,
Oh boy.
they follow LaMelo Ball all the way overseas. Like, we had
Facts.
updates on him on regular. RJ Hampton too. Like, so, but you have to be built for that. There's not a lot of players who can really handle that. So you got to be
Right.
self-aware for yourself and understand that. So, you take a different hit when you're a trailblazer and you're taking that route. But on the other end of it, like, it's okay to not be a trailblazer. Like, it's cool to go the path that's been followed. Because
Right.
like once again, if you Eric Bledsoe, is you from the hood, bro. We from Birmingham, Alabama. We got to say what we can get. You know, like come on, man. Let's figure something out here. We can go. So it just depends on your situation, man. But I feel like 9 times out of 10, how can I say this?
BPC now, my boy.
I'm figuring something out. It just has to. Well, your situation has to make sense. That's basically all I'm gonna say. It just has to make sense because, like, if you just want to play college basketball, then take whatever offer you get. But now, if John Calipari called my phone, any and every HBCU will be left a voicemail. That's just how it is. I'm telling you. If I'm in a situation, like think about it now. If John's calling my phone, more than likely you up there. Like you ain't just some 3-star
Especially if
recruit.
it's
You ain't no.
John and not an assistant. Yeah.
If you probably ain't even a 4-star. It's 5 stars and up. Like what? Hey, this is like me personally, I don't answer unknown numbers. Like I really every once in a while I will just because of situations, but whatever. But 9 times out
Right.
of 10, I'm not answering unknown phone number. So I just Kentucky. Bet not. I'm getting
I
some
don't know
type
nobody
of
in Kentucky.
what are we doing here? Like I'm getting spam calls. What I see it ring again, same number, same location. What are we doing here? Like they probably text me, hey, this is John from Kentucky. Stop playing on my phone, bro. Like, what are we doing here? Another call. Hello. Hey, B. It's B, right? Yes, who is this? This is John. John who? John Calipari, the coach at Kentucky. Man, stop playing, bro. Like, yes, I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, come on now. So, and like you said before, if a mid major or a HBCU, it's more of a conversation here. But once again, it just has to make sense because some D2s and D1s for PWI will set you up a little bit easier to go that next level. And, but once again, it got to make sense. But I just don't like when people are so black power and so fight the power type of stuff. And just you lose common sense. I think that's my biggest issue to it. It's like, bro, like, I'm not turning down the PWI because I'm trying to support black people. I think about me first.
Right.
I think about my family. I'm from the hood, bro. Like, y'all not getting the same NIL deals that these other schools getting. And I need this because I'm trying to send it back to my mama so she can be straight. So let's not lose common sense in the sight of all this, this black renaissance we're trying to go through with black power and empowering black businesses and black people and all that stuff. Man, forget all that, bro. I'm trying to take care of my family. So if PWI does that and I'm able to go pro, we doing that route. So feel me? That's how I feel about it, man. So I'm not bashing HBCUs, but let's just think all the way through this whole system that we're talking about here. So if PWI makes the most sense for you and that's the situation that sets you up, then cool, let's go there. Like, let's not go too far left that we forget the full picture of what we're trying to do here. So that's just how I feel about it, man.
Hey, that's a fair point, my boy. Like I said, Coach Cal call you, answer the phone. But just give them other guys a fair shake, man. That's all I say. Give your people a fair shake. Let's put it like that. Give you a fair shake. You know what I'm saying? And that's all I got to say on that, my boy. So anything else you want to say on the matter?
Nah, I think I might have ruffled a few feathers and bothered a couple people here and there, but it's all good.
Hey, part of the deal. It's part of the deal.
I know what I signed up for. We good.
We good. Hey, man. But either way, man. Well, we hope y'all enjoyed this, man. That's been another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. Be sure to like and subscribe and hop down in the comments and let us know what you think. Get in there and let us know how you feel about the HBCU Power 5 combo and the big fish in a small pond, small fish in a big pond combo that we had. Let us know what you would do if you're in that situation. Would you rather be the guy to stay or would you rather be Boogie at Kentucky or Eric Bledsoe or John Wall, one of them guys? So let us know what y'all would do, man. Let us know whose side you on with it for real. But with all that being said, man, follow Brian on all social medias at BeBall Jones. That's BeBall Jones on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and on TikTok. So y'all be sure to go follow him up over there and like what he got up already. And y'all follow me on Twitter. Twitter is always first. Y'all follow me on Twitter at NellyH34, at Nelson.Ashman on IG. And just find me at my name on Facebook. And we always love to keep the conversation going on over there. But yeah, man, be sure to like and subscribe, like I said before, man. Be sure to follow the podcast on TikTok also. We'll throw that in there. Podcast has its own TikTok page, so y'all be sure to go check out the little snippets we got on there. And that's it, man. So once again, we appreciate y'all for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for another great episode, possibly another great debate, might be another great interview. You never know. So you got to check us out to find out, man. But without further ado, we out.